You think you know Pisces. You think they're soft, sweet, emotional, easy to manipulate, easy to guilt, easy to bend. But you don't really know them. Because Pisces isn't just a person. Pisces is an ocean. And you should never ever piss off the ocean. Take a breath. Get comfortable. Because once you understand who Pisces really is, you'll see exactly why crossing them has consequences you didn't see coming. There's a reason Pisces is the last sign of the Zodiac. They've walked through every other archetype, the impulsive fire of Aries, the stubborn earth of Taurus, the airy duality of Gemini, all the way through to the cold mastery of Capricorn and the intense depth of Aquarius. And after all that, you get Pisces, the final chapter, the entire story wrapped in one soul. Pisces carries pieces of everyone. That's why they can be so understanding, so forgiving, so endlessly patient. They've lived 1,000 lives in one lifetime. They know what it's like to be the villain, the hero, the healer, the wounded, the lost and the found. So when you hurt a Pisces, when you disrespect a Pisces, when you push a Pisces too far, you're not dealing with someone naive. You're dealing with someone who already knows how this story ends. They see the pattern. They feel the shift. They sense the lie before you've even told it. And still, they give you the benefit of the doubt. At first. Pisces gives first. That's one of the most important things to understand. They give their heart, they give their time, they give their attention, they give their energy, they give their support, they give their forgiveness. They give and give and give, often without being asked. They are the friend who will sit with you on the floor at 2 in the morning while you cry. The partner who will feel your mood change before you say a single word. The coworker who quietly steps in when you're overwhelmed without trying to make it about them. They are healers by nature, but that's also why people underestimate them. Because in a world that glorifies loudness, Pisces leads with softness. In a culture obsessed with dominance, Pisces leads with compassion, and people mistake compassion for weakness. They see someone who is flexible and assume spineless, someone who is emotional and assume irrational, someone who is forgiving and assume foolish. What they don't realize is that Pisces is choosing love on purpose. They know what this world can be: harsh, cold, sharp, calculated. They have seen that reality and they still choose to be kind. That's not weakness, that's power. That's courage. That's soul. But just because they are kind doesn't mean they'll let you walk all over them forever. There is a line. Pisces doesn't draw it in the sand. Pisces draws it in the soul, and when you cross it, everything changes. So what actually pisses off a Pisces? It's not the small stuff. They can handle your mood swings, your bad days, your clumsy words. They can handle misunderstandings, miscommunications, even the occasional argument. What cuts them deep is something else entirely: dismissing their emotions, lying to them, using them, or making them feel invisible. When a Pisces opens up and tells you they're hurt, or exhausted, or overwhelmed, and you respond with, "You're being dramatic," or "You're too sensitive," or "You just need to toughen up," you're not just disagreeing, you're invalidating their reality. You're essentially saying, "The way you feel doesn't matter." For a Pisces, whose entire world is built from feeling, that's not just rude, it's violent. Dismissing their emotions tells them, "You are not safe being yourself with me." And once a Pisces no longer feels safe with you, a clock starts ticking. You may not hear it, you may not see it, but they feel it. Then there's lying. Lies affect Pisces differently than most signs. They may not always catch the exact words, but they feel the energetic gap between what you say and what you mean. Something feels off. The story doesn't sit right. The tone, the timing, the shift in your face, the restless energy in the room. Pisces feels it. They might give you a chance. They might ask a question or two. They might try to gently tug on the thread to see if it comes loose. But if they realize you are deliberately misleading them, something inside them begins to detach. You may think you got away with it. You may think they bought your excuse. You may even believe they're too emotional to notice what's really going on. They noticed. They always notice. They just don't always call you out. Not yet. They wait. They watch. They see if it was a mistake or a pattern. If it's a pattern, you've got a problem, because Pisces might not explode in your face. They will simply start to remove you from their heart. Then there's using them, taking advantage of their kindness. This one is common. People see how giving Pisces is, and they start expecting it. They start relying on it. They start assuming it. They borrow their empathy without ever returning it. They unload emotionally on Pisces, then vanish when Pisces needs support. They accept the favors, the flexibility, the forgiveness, and offer almost nothing back. At first, Pisces lets it slide. They understand that people are busy. They understand that not everyone loves the way they do. They understand that people are flawed. They rationalize your behavior for you. But eventually, the imbalance becomes too large to ignore. Pisces might not say, "You're using me." They'll just quietly pull back what they were giving you. They'll let you feel your own weight. They'll let you notice the silence where their support used to be. And if you keep taking, that line in the soul, the one they drew a long time ago, starts to glow. Then there's making them feel invisible. This one hurts the most. Ignoring their efforts, ignoring their pain, ignoring their growth, ignoring the way they show up for you, being physically there but emotionally absent. When a Pisces feels unseen, it doesn't just disappoint them. It breaks something inside. They are a sign that craves deep connection. They want to be felt, not just looked at. They want to be understood, not just tolerated. If they feel like they could disappear from your life and nothing would change, eventually they will. And that's when you learn what it really means to lose a Pisces. So what happens when you do piss them off? Not the surface level annoyance. Not the "you're on my nerves today" kind of irritation. I'm talking about the moment when a Pisces realizes, "I can't trust you with my heart anymore." At first, it looks like emotional withdrawal. They don't laugh as easily around you. They stop sharing the vulnerable parts of their day. They don't text back as quickly. They seem distant, but they're not confrontational. You might think they're just busy. You might tell yourself it's just a phase. It's not. It's a quiet, internal closing of doors. The second stage is boundaries. Pisces, who once said yes to everything, start saying no. No to your last-minute demands. No to your emotional dumping when you never show up for them. No to the situations where they leave feeling empty and drained. For a sign that often struggles with boundaries, this is a massive shift. They're no longer bending themselves into the shape of who you need them to be. They're slowly returning to the shape of who they actually are. Then comes the transformation. This is the part you don't see. While you're wondering why they've changed, Pisces is healing. They're journaling. They're crying it out. They're praying. They're meditating. They're talking to someone they trust. They're turning the pain you gave them into clarity. They start to realize that they deserve better. They start to remember who they were before you took up so much emotional space. Their energy begins to rise. They look in the mirror and see someone who has been drained for far too long, and they decide quietly that this chapter is over. When Pisces reaches that decision, there are usually two paths. In one timeline, they return different. They might give the connection another chance, but it's never the same. You don't get the innocent, unconditional version of them again. You get a wise version, a guarded version, a version with boundaries. They may still love you, but they no longer abandon themselves to do it. In the other timeline, they leave. They may not slam the door. They may not deliver a dramatic speech. They may not list all the ways you hurt them. They might just let the connection fade into the background of their life. Texts become rare, then stop completely. Conversations get shorter. Plans never quite happen. One day you wake up and realize you're not in their life anymore. And you don't even know when exactly that shift happened, because Pisces doesn't always make a scene when they walk away. Sometimes they simply stop swimming in your direction. What about revenge? Most people think revenge is screaming, fighting, public blasting, rage. That's not Pisces. Pisces' revenge is not about destroying you. It's about no longer saving you. Pisces' revenge is silence. It's the absence of their comfort, their support, their second chances. The empathy they use to wrap around your mistakes like a blanket is gone. Pisces' revenge is elevation. They level up. They glow up. They become more peaceful, more creative, more aligned, more powerful. They start pouring into themselves the way they used to pour into you. And if you're paying attention from the outside, you realize they didn't try to ruin your life. They just decided you no longer get a front row seat to theirs. Pisces' revenge is letting karma do what karma does, not because they cursed you, because they stopped absorbing the impact of your choices for you. When Pisces stops cushioning your consequences, you finally feel them. And that's when a lot of people realize, too late, just how much protection that Pisces energy was actually providing. But here's the deeper layer most people miss. There is a spiritual consequence to hurting a Pisces. Pisces is connected to things many people can't see. Dreams, intuition, synchronicities, gut feelings, spiritual truths, energetic undercurrents. They are like antennae for the unseen. When you are in right relationship with a Pisces, your life often feels more guided, more meaningful, more intuitively aligned. You get little nudges, little intuitive hits, little moments of, I don't know why I just knew that, but I did. Because when you are close to someone deeply connected to the spiritual realm, you benefit from that connection. You're in their field. You're standing near their light. But when you disrespect them, when you use them, when you repeatedly hurt them, that spiritual bridge cracks. You lose access to the clarity that came from being in their orbit. Your decisions feel heavier. Your path feels foggier. You're not cursed. You're not doomed. You're just walking without the intuitive echo they used to reflect back to you. The same way being around them made everything feel more alive, more meaningful, more guided. Losing them makes everything feel a little more dull, a little more disconnected, a little more random. You don't realize how much light they were bringing into your life until it's gone. So the question becomes, how do you keep from ever reaching that point? How do you make sure you don't piss off a Pisces so deeply that you lose them? It's not complicated, but it does require honesty. With them, and with yourself. You honor a Pisces by taking their emotions seriously, not indulging every fear or feeding every insecurity, but acknowledging that the way they feel is real, even if you don't fully understand it. You say things like, "I hear you. I can see this really hurt. What do you need from me right now?" You honor a Pisces by being honest, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're afraid of their reaction. They would rather be broken by the truth than slowly poisoned by a lie. You honor a Pisces by not taking their kindness for granted. You say thank you. You reciprocate when you can. You notice when they're the one always holding space, and you ask, "How are you doing, really?" You honor a Pisces by not making them feel invisible. You make eye contact. You listen with your full presence. You remember the little details they share. You show up when it matters. You don't wait until they're gone to realize how much they meant. You honor a Pisces by respecting their boundaries. Yes, they might struggle to express them at first. Yes, they may backtrack or apologize for having needs. Encourage them anyway. Tell them it's okay to say no. Tell them it's okay to take time for themselves. Tell them their needs are not too much. Because a Pisces who knows they are safe being themselves with you, who trusts that you won't weaponize their vulnerability, will give you a love that feels rare. They will become your safe place. They will believe in you when you stop believing in yourself. They will see the best in you even when you're at your worst. That is a gift people spend lifetimes searching for. So no, you shouldn't piss off a Pisces, not because they're going to explode your life in a dramatic burst of rage, but because they're going to leave, because they're going to evolve, because they're going to rise. And one day you're going to look at the ocean of their love, their care, their understanding, their spirit, and realize you don't have access to it anymore. You're standing on the shore, watching the tide roll back, understanding too late that what you thought was small was actually everything. Pisces is not the weak one. Pisces is the one who loved you when you weren't easy to love. Pisces is the one who understood you when you didn't make sense. Pisces is the one who stayed when everyone else left, until you made it impossible for them to stay. So if you have a Pisces in your life right now, don't wait until the storm to appreciate the calm. Don't wait until the silence to appreciate their voice. Don't wait until they're gone to realize what their presence really meant. Treat them like the ocean they are. Respect them. Appreciate them. Protect their heart the way they've tried to protect yours. Because the truth is simple. You don't want to see what happens when the ocean stops being gentle. You don't want to be the reason a Pisces has to learn how to live without you. And you definitely don't want to look back one day and realize you had the kind of love people pray for, and you pushed it away.